The signal from the stars. Sarah Chon rubbed her tired eyes and reached for her 5th cup of coffee. The night shift at Earth's Deep Space Monitoring Station in Nevada was usually boring. She watched the screens show the same cosmic background radiation, the same predictable pulsar signals, the same empty noise from space. At 3:47 a.m., something changed. A pattern appeared on her monitor, too regular to be natural. Sarah sat up straight, her coffee forgotten. The signal repeated every 4.7 seconds, carrying mathematical sequences that made her heart race. "Dr. Jung-hoon, you need to see this," Sarah called her supervisor, her voice shaking with excitement. Marcus Jung-hoon, a tall Korean scientist with gray hair, hurried over. He had worked at the station for 20 years and had never seen Sarah this excited. "What is it, Chun?" he asked, leaning over her shoulder. "A signal, sir, but not like anything we've cataloged before. Look at these patterns. Prime numbers, then the Fibonacci sequence, then ... this." Sarah pointed at her screen where new data streamed in. Jung-hoon's eyes widened. The signal was shifting, forming patterns that looked almost like language. "Run it through the quantum decoder," he ordered. "All processing power, now." For 3 hours, Earth's most powerful quantum computers worked on the signal. Scientists from around the world joined through secure video links. The room filled with tension as humanity's best minds realized what they were seeing. Then the translation appeared on the main screen. Simple words that changed everything. "Help us. They are coming. We are dying." The room fell silent. Sarah's hands trembled as she typed. The message repeated, followed by coordinates. The Kepler 442 system, 1,200 light-years from Earth. "It's real," whispered Dr. Petrov from Moscow's link. "First contact. And they need help." General Min Jun of the United Earth Defense Force appeared on the emergency connection. His weathered face showed no emotion, but Sarah saw his jaw tighten. "How long has this been transmitting?" the general asked. "Based on the distance and signal degradation, approximately 1,200 years, Jung-hoon replied. "But sir, there's more. The signal is getting weaker. Whatever is happening to them is happening now." Within 6 hours, world leaders gathered at an emergency session of the United Nations in New York. The Great Hall buzzed with heated debate in dozens of languages. President Martinez of the Americas Union stood first. "We've hidden from the galaxy for centuries. Revealing ourselves could invite disaster to Earth. Or we could save an entire civilization," countered Prime Minister Okonkwo of the African Federation. "Is this not why we built our fleets? To be ready?" Chancellor Yamamoto of the Asian Alliance raised her hand for silence. "The question is not whether we can help, but whether we should. We know nothing about these beings, nothing about their enemies." The debate raged for 3 days. Some argued for caution. Earth had spent 50 years building secret defenses after discovering we weren't alone. Others argued for compassion. What was the point of strength if not to protect those who needed it? Sarah watched the debates from Nevada, her discovery weighing on her. She thought about the message. We are dying. Someone, somewhere in the vast darkness, was calling for help. And Earth was listening. On the 3rd day, the vote was called. Secretary General Nakamura read the results. 147 nations in favor of intervention. 23 against. 12 abstaining. The motion passes. Humanity will answer the call. The room erupted. Some cheered, others looked grave. History was being written. General Min Jun immediately activated Protocol 7. Across the solar system, hidden bases received the same command. Operation Guardian Angel is approved. All units prepare for deployment. On the moon's dark side, massive hangar doors that had stayed closed for 30 years began to open. Dust that had settled for decades drifted away as lights flickered on, revealing humanity's greatest secret. Hundreds of warships sat in neat rows. Sleek destroyers, heavy cruisers, massive battleships, all bearing the blue and white emblem of Earth. Engineers who had trained their whole lives for this moment ran to their stations. Captain Michael Chun, Sarah's older brother, stood on the bridge of humanity's flagship, the Terra's Fury. He looked at the stars through the hangar's opening and thought about his sister's discovery. "All stations, this is Captain Chun," he announced over the fleet-wide communication. "You've trained for first contact. You've prepared for war. Now we face both." Someone called for help across the darkness of space. Today, humanity answers. The engines of 200 warships began to hum with power. The rescue mission that would change the galaxy forever was about to begin. Asterisk. The gathering storm commander C.O. Yeon stood in the observation deck of the Mars orbital shipyard, watching as humanity's hidden might revealed itself. Ships emerged from caverns, carved into Olympus mongs, their hulls gleaming with fresh armor plating. She had waited 15 years for this moment. "Commander, the fighter wings are ready," reported Lieutenant Park, her second in command. "All 5,000 pilots have reported for duty." SEO Yeon nodded. She was only 35, but she had spent half her life training for this day. Every simulation, every exercise, every sleepless night studying alien combat patterns from ancient signals, it all led to this. On Europa Station, engineers loaded the last supplies onto support vessels. The Ice Moon's underground oceans had hidden humanity's largest ships for decades. Now, massive carriers and hospital ships rose through the breaking ice, water streaming off their hulls as they reached for the stars. Back on Earth, Sarah Chun worked without rest in the Decode Center. The alien signal contained more than just a cry for help. Hidden in the data streams were fragments of information about the senders. "They call themselves the Etherians," Sarah reported to the War Council. "Their language is based on light harmonics. They might even communicate through bioluminescence." She pulled up the reconstructed images on the holographic display. The Etherians appeared as tall, slender beings with translucent skin that seemed to glow from within. Their large eyes reflected wisdom and kindness. "There's more," Sarah continued, her voice heavy. "They've sent their history. They were explorers, traders, teachers. They shared technology freely with younger species. They've never fought a war in their 10,000-year recorded history." General Min Jun frowned. "And why are they under attack?" "The Zarkonian Empire," Sarah answered. "The Etherians refused to give them weapons technology. The Zarkonians don't accept no as an answer." She showed the next set of decoded data. The Zarkonians were massive, reptilian warriors standing 3 meters tall. Their ships were crude but powerful, built from the conquered technology of a dozen enslaved species. Population data suggests the Etherians numbered 3 billion just 50 years ago, Dr. Jung-hoon added grimly. "Current estimates. Less than 10 million remain." The room fell silent. An entire civilization being wiped out for refusing to enable violence. Captain Chun stood on the bridge of Terra's Fury, reading these reports. His crew of 5,000 included people from every nation on Earth. His weapons officer was Russian, his navigator Brazilian, his chief engineer Nigerian. Humanity's diversity would be its strength. "Captain, all ships report ready," announced his communications officer. "Commander Zhang, the Jung-hoon Drive is online." The Jung-hoon Drive, named after the scientist who cracked faster than light, travel, could wrap space around the ships, allowing them to cross impossible distances in months instead of millennia. "Open a channel to all ships," Captain Chun ordered. His image appeared on every screen in the fleet. "Men and women of Earth," he began. We carry humanity's answer to a call for help. We go not as conquerors, but as protectors. Not for glory, but for justice. The Etherians don't know we're coming. They probably think their message disappeared into empty space, unheard and unanswered. He paused, looking at the stars beyond his viewport. Let's show them, and the galaxy, what humanity is made of. All ships prepare for departure. In homes across Earth, families gathered around screens to watch the historic moment. Children who would never see their parents again waved goodbye. Spouses shared final kisses through video links. Sarah Chun watched from Nevada as her brother's ship powered up. Their parents had died when they were young, leaving them only with each other. Now, he was leaving on a mission he might not return from. "Stay safe, Michael," she whispered to the screen. The fleet formed up in perfect formation. 200 warships, destroyers, cruisers, battleships, carriers. 50 support vessels, hospital ships, supply freighters, mobile repair platforms. 500,000 humans ready to fight for strangers they'd never met. All ships, this is Fleet Command. General Min Jun's voice echoed through space. Engage Jung Hoon drives on my mark. 3.2.1. Mark. Space twisted. Stars stretched into lines. Reality bent around 250 ships as they punched through the fabric of space-time itself. From Earth's surface, people saw a flash of light, then nothing. The fleet was gone, racing across the galaxy at impossible speeds. In the communication center, Sarah watched her screen. The fleet's telemetry streamed in through quantum entanglement links. They were really doing it. Humanity was racing to save a dying species. Earth's most powerful transmitter activated, sending a message in the same mathematical pattern the Etherians had used. Humanity hears your call. We are coming. Hold on. The message shot through space at light speed. It would take 1,200 years to reach the Etherians. Humanity's fleet would be there in 6 months. Asterisk first contact under fire 6 months had passed. Captain Chun stood ready as Terra's Fury prepared to drop out of warp. The journey through folded space had been smooth, but everyone knew that would be the easy part. Dropping to normal space in 10 seconds, announced Navigator Santos. All hands, prepare for transition. The stars stopped streaking. Reality snapped back into focus, and the human fleet arrived in hell. Before them, the Etherian homeworld burned. Massive Zarkonian dreadnoughts hung in orbit like metallic predators, their weapons raining death on the cities below. The planet's blue oceans were stained black with ash. Continents glowed with fires visible from space. "Dear God," whispered Commander Zhang, "we're too late." "No," Captain Chun said firmly. "Look closer." Small ships, Etherian refugee vessels, dodged desperately between the attacking fleet. Some made it to open space. Many didn't, exploding in silent flashes as Zarkonian weapons found them. They're still fighting to evacuate, Sean realized. Comes, how many Zarkonian vessels? Counting. 240 warships, Captain. They haven't noticed us yet. Chun made his decision in seconds. All ships, this is Terra's Fury. Engage immediately. Priority targets are vessels attacking refugee ships. Fire at will. The human fleet exploded into action. Commander SEO Yeon launched from the carrier Soul's Pride with her fighter wing. 500 human fighters, each no bigger than a house, screamed toward the enemy fleet. The Zarkonians, focused on their slaughter, didn't see death coming. Wolf pack formation, Sizio Yan ordered. Remember your training. These bastards have never faced human pilots. The first Zarkonian ship to die never knew what hit it. 20 human fighters swarmed it, their plasma cannons targeting weak points with surgical precision. The dreadnought's shields flickered and died. Missiles followed, turning the ship into an expanding cloud of debris. On Terra's Fury, Captain Chun watched the tactical display. Their formation is scattered. They're not used to resistance. Hit them hard before they can regroup. The human battleships opened fire. Railguns accelerated projectiles to fraction of light speed. Plasma beams carved through enemy hulls. The Zarkonians, caught completely off guard, scrambled to respond. Then came the counterattack. Warlord Zircon the Destroyer watched from his command throne as unknown ships tore through his fleet. His scaled face twisted in rage. In 800 years of conquest, no one had dared attack his forces. What species dares? He roared in his guttural language. Unknown, Warlord, his tactical officer replied, fear in his voice. Their ships are small, but efficient. We've lost 12 vessels already. Impossible. We are Zarkonian. We are supreme. But the tactical display didn't lie. The unknown fleet moved like a single organism. Ships covering each other, fighters screening larger vessels, every movement coordinated. It was nothing like the chaotic battles Zircon was used to. Meanwhile, on an Etherian refugee ship, Ambassador Chixara watched in amazement. Her bioluminescent skin pulsed with emotion as unknown vessels formed a protective wall between her people and death. Who are they? Asked Terade, young vixen. I don't know, Chixara replied, her large eyes reflecting the battle. But they fight like nothing I've ever seen. A communication channel opened. Captain Chun's face appeared on their screen. To the Etherians, he looked strange. So solid, so dense, lacking their translucent beauty. But his eyes held something they recognized. Determination. This is Captain Michael Chun of the Earth vessel Terra's Fury. We received your distress signal. We're here to help. Can you understand me? The translation matrix worked. Chixara's melodious voice replied, You. You came? From Earth? But that's 1,200 light years away. We came as fast as we could. Get your people to these coordinates. We'll cover your retreat. Why? Chizara had to ask. Why would you risk yourselves for us? Chun smiled grimly. Because you asked for help. Now move. We'll hold them off. The battle intensified. Seo Yin's fighter was hit, spinning out of control. She ejected, her suit's thrusters carrying her to safety as her wingmen grabbed her with magnetic grapples. Even damaged, humans kept fighting. The Zarkonians began to adapt, forming defensive clusters. Their weapons were powerful. Each blast could vaporize a human destroyer. But humans had something the Zarkonians had never encountered: coordinated sacrifice. When a Zarkonian superweapon targeted a hospital ship full of Etherian refugees, 3 human destroyers threw themselves into the beam's path. They died instantly, but the refugees lived. Madness. Zircon snarled. They die for weaklings they don't even know. His confusion was his weakness. While he tried to understand human psychology, he missed the trap Chun was setting. All ships, execute hammer and anvil, Chun ordered. The human fleet split, seeming to retreat. Zircon, smelling victory, ordered pursuit. His ships accelerated, chasing the fleeing humans. Then the trap closed. The human ships suddenly reversed course, catching the Zarkonians in a crossfire. It was a tactic from Earth's ancient history, but it worked perfectly in 3-dimensional space. 40 more Zarkonian ships died in minutes. But Zircon wasn't finished. His personal fleet, 1,000 dreadnoughts, dropped out of warp behind the human forces. Asterisk. Humanity's fury unleashed new contacts. 1,000 Zarkonian ships dropping from warp. The sensor officer shouted. Captain Chun looked at the tactical display. They were surrounded, outnumbered 4 to 1. The main Zarkonian fleet formed a sphere around the human forces. It was a massacre waiting to happen. All ships, defensive formation Delta, Shun ordered calmly. Prepare to deploy special weapons. For 50 years, Earth scientists had worked in secret, not just on ships and shields, but on weapons that pushed the boundaries of physics itself. Weapons that Earth's leaders had hoped would never be needed. Now, humanity's survival depended on them. Deploy the nanoswarm, Shun commanded. From Terra's Fury's hull, a cloud of microscopic machines erupted. Each nanomachine was smaller than a grain of sand, but together they numbered in the trillions. They spread like a silver fog, invisible to enemy sensors until it was too late. The first Zarkonian ship to enter the cloud simply dissolved. The nanomachines ate through its hull in seconds, converting metal to more nanomachines. The crew's screams echoed through their fleet's communications before cutting to silence. What sorcery is this? Zircon roared. But humanity was just beginning. Commander Co. Yeon, back in a replacement fighter, led a strike force directly at Zircon's flagship. The massive dreadnought was 20 kilometers long, bristling with weapons. David versus Goliath played out among the stars. Quantum jammers now, she ordered. The human fighters released devices that shifted reality at the quantum level. Suddenly, Zarkonian communications scrambled. Their targeting computers failed. Their shields flickered randomly. Technology they had stolen and barely understood turned against them. On Earth, Sarah Chun watched the battle through quantum-entangled sensors. The fight was brutal, but something in the Zarkonian shield frequencies caught her attention. A harmonic pattern, repeating every 3.7 seconds. "That's it!" she exclaimed. Her fingers flew across her keyboard, running calculations. "Michael, can you hear me?" Her brother's face appeared on her screen, smoke and sparks behind him from a recent hit. "Little busy here, Sarah. They're shields. They oscillate at 347.2 terahertz. If you match that frequency and invert it, you'll cancel them out," Michael finished, understanding immediately. "Transmitting to all ships now." The effect was instantaneous. Human weapons, previously deflected by Zarkonian shields, suddenly punched through like paper. Enemy ships that had seemed invincible began taking real damage. But Zircon had one more card to play. "Deploy the planet killers," he ordered with cold satisfaction. "If I cannot have the Etherians' technology, no one will." 3 massive missiles launched from his flagship, each carrying enough antimatter to crack a planet's core. They streaked toward the Etherian homeworld, where 10 million souls waited for death. Captain Shun saw them launch. The missiles would reach the planet in 4 minutes. No human ship was close enough to intercept. "Marina," he called to his weapons officer, "is the Nova cannon ready?" Lieutenant Marina Volkov, one of only 12 people who knew the weapon's true nature, nodded grimly. "Sir, at this range, the gravitational shear could tear us apart too. Then we'd better be accurate. Target those missiles. Fire." Terra's Fury's bow split open, revealing a weapon that shouldn't exist. The Nova cannon used controlled micro-black holes to create gravitational waves as weapons. Einstein would have been terrified. Space itself rippled. The 3 planet-killer missiles were caught in gravitational forces that compressed them to the size of atoms, then released them. The explosions were visible from 3 solar systems away, but safely distant from any world. The battle reached its crescendo. Human Marines, led by Sergeant Park Ji-sung, boarded Zarkonian vessels. The reptilian warriors were stronger, but humans were smarter. They used the ship's own systems against them, venting atmosphere, reversing gravity, turning corridors into death traps. On one Zarkonian cruiser, Park's squad found something unexpected: prison cells full of other species. Slaves the Zarkonians had taken from conquered worlds. "We're getting you out," Park told them through his translator. "Can you fight?" A four-armed creature that looked like living crystal stepped forward. "Give us weapons. We have waited decades for this moment." Soon, Zarkonian ships faced rebellion from within as freed slaves turned on their captors. The Empire's cruelty became its downfall. Zircon watched his fleet crumble. These humans fought like nothing in his experience. They adapted, they sacrificed, they showed mercy to enemies who surrendered and fury to those who didn't. Warlord, his second-in-command, urged, "We should retreat." "Never. I am Zircon the Destroyer. I have conquered 50 worlds. And now you face Earth," came a transmission. Captain Chun's face appeared on screen. "Surrender? This doesn't have to continue. You think you've won, human?" Zircon laughed bitterly. "You saved one dying species. But the galaxy will know you now. Others will come, stronger than us. You've doomed your world by revealing yourselves." Chun's expression didn't change. "Then we'll face them too. That's what we do. We stand up to bullies. Now, surrender or die. You have 10 seconds. Zircon made his choice. He activated his flagship's self-destruct, choosing death over the dishonor of defeat. But Chun had anticipated this. Esioyan Extraction Pattern Alpha. Now, human fighters swarmed the flagship, their magnetic harpoons latching onto escape pods. They pulled away thousands of Zarkonian crew members before the ship exploded, taking Zircon with it. Even in victory, humanity chose to save lives. Asterisk, the galaxy forever changed. The battle was over. Where once 1,000 Zarkonian dreadnoughts had dominated space, now only debris fields remained. The human fleet, battered but victorious, maintained protective positions around the Etherian homeworld. Captain Chun stood on his bridge, surveying the damage. 60 human ships were gone, reduced to floating metal and memories. 50,000 brave souls who would never see Earth again. "Sir," Communications Officer Zhang reported quietly, "Ambassador Chixara requests permission to come aboard." "Granted." Full diplomatic honors. The Etherian ambassador arrived in a shuttle that looked like crystallized light. When she stepped onto Terra's Fury, the human crew gasped. In person, the Etherians were even more beautiful than the images suggested. Chixara stood 7 feet tall, her translucent skin pulsing with soft blue light that responded to her emotions. She approached Captain Chun and did something unexpected. She knelt. "Please." "Ambassador, stand," Chun said, uncomfortable with the gesture. "Captain, my people owe you a debt we can never repay. 3 million Etherians survive because of humanity's courage. Why? Why did you come?" Chun helped her stand. 1,200 years ago, you sent a message into the darkness. A call for help. On Earth, we have a saying, "No one stands alone." When someone calls for help, you answer. It's that simple. Chixara's glow intensified, a sign of deep emotion. "The galaxy has never seen anything like your species. The Zarkonians conquered through fear. Others hide in the darkness. But you came for strangers." Over the following days, the truth of humanity's intervention spread through quantum communications across the galaxy. Species that had hidden for millennia began to reveal themselves. The crystalline collective, beings of living mineral, emerged from the asteroid belts they had hidden in for centuries. The void dancers, creatures of pure energy, materialized from subspace. The ancient observers, who had watched civilizations rise and fall for eons, finally broke their silence. A message came from the ancient observers. "In 10,000 years of watching, we have never seen such selfless courage. Humanity has changed the equation. Within a month, Representatives from 12 species gathered on the repaired Etherian homeworld. The gathering was unprecedented. Species that had never acknowledged each other's existence now sat at the same table. General Min Jun represented Earth, having arrived with the Second Fleet. Commander Seo Yan, promoted for her heroism, stood beside him. Captain Chun attended via hologram from Terra's Fury, still maintaining security in orbit. The Zarkonian Empire is broken, the crystalline speaker chimed, their voice like singing glass. But others like them exist. The galaxy needs protectors, not conquerors, emphasized the Void Dancer, their form shifting like aurora. Protectors. Ambassador Chixara stood, her light pulsing with determination. I propose the formation of the Galactic Protection Alliance, a coalition dedicated to defending those who cannot defend themselves. And who would lead this alliance? Asked the skeptical representative of the silicon-based hive. Every eye, sensor, and energy field turned to the humans. General Min Jun stood slowly. Earth doesn't seek to rule, but we will commit our forces to protecting any member species. Our technology, our strategies, our warriors, they're available to defend peace. The warriors who answer, the ancient observer intoned. That is what the galaxy shall call you. The alliance was formalized that day. 12 species initially, but within a year, that number would grow to 40. Each contributed what they could, technology, resources, knowledge. But everyone understood that humanity formed the military backbone. The Etherians, in gratitude, shared their medical technology. Diseases that had plagued Earth for millennia were cured overnight. Human lifespan doubled. It was their way of saying thank you. Sarah Chun received a special gift, an Etherian light crystal that allowed instant communication across any distance. She used it to talk to her brother every day, no matter how far apart they were. How's the galaxy's hero doing? She asked during one call. Michael laughed. Stop it. We all did our part. How's Earth handling being the galaxy's protector? Better than expected. Children play humans and Zarkonians in the streets. Everyone wants to join the fleet. And the technology exchange is advancing as centuries in months. Any regrets about revealing ourselves? Sarah thought for a moment. None. We spent so long preparing for threats, we forgot to prepare for friends. The galaxy isn't as dark as we thought. 6 months after the battle, a celebration was held on Earth. Representatives from every Alliance species attended. The sky above New York, filled with ships of impossible designs. Crystal spires, energy clouds, living metal constructs. And sleek human vessels. Ambassador Chixara addressed the United Nations. Her words transmitted to every corner of Earth and beyond. Humans of Earth, you answered a call sent in desperation. You knew nothing of us, nothing of what you would face, nothing of what it might cost. Yet you came. The Zarkonians asked why you would die for strangers. Now the whole galaxy knows the answer, because that is what heroes do. She paused, her light shifting to warm gold. We sent one message into the void, never believing anyone would answer. Today, because of humanity, no species will ever face the darkness alone again. You have given the galaxy something it has never had. Hope with teeth, compassion with strength, mercy backed by might. The crowd erupted in celebration. Fireworks spelled out words in 100 alien languages, all saying the same thing. Thank you. Humanity. Captain Chun, now Admiral Chun, stood with his sister on the observation deck of Terra's Fury, watching the celebration below. Think things will ever be normal again? Sarah asked. Define normal, Michael replied. We're part of a galactic alliance, teaching combat tactics to crystal beings, and planning rescue missions to systems we can't even pronounce. So ... Tuesday for humanity? They both laughed. In the years that followed, humanity's reputation spread to the farthest corners of the galaxy. Pirates fled at the sight of human patrol ships. Tyrants thought twice before oppressing weaker species. The mere possibility that humans might answer a distress call prevented countless atrocities. Asterisk. Earth became a training ground where species learned human military doctrine. The saying, "Fight like a human," became the highest compliment a warrior could receive. But perhaps the most beautiful change was on the Etherian homeworld. In the capital city, rebuilt with human and Etherian cooperation, a monument stood. It showed a human hand reaching out to grasp an Etherian hand, with stars streaming between them. The inscription read in every known language, "On this spot, humanity answered our call. They came 1,200 light years to save strangers. They lost 50,000 of their own to save 3 million of ours. They asked for nothing in return. Remember always, in the darkest night, Earth's children bring the light." And in a small apartment in Nevada, Sarah-chan kept a photo on her desk. It showed human and Etherian children playing together on a rebuilt playground, their laughter bridging the gap between species. She looked at it whenever the weight of being humanity's first contact seemed too heavy. It reminded her why that night shift discovery mattered, because somewhere in the galaxy, a child was alive because humanity answered the call. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly as it should be. Epilogue 1 year later. A new signal reached Earth. Another species, under attack by remnants of the Zarkonian fleet. Without hesitation, the response went out. Hold on. Humanity is coming. Because that's what humans do. They answer the call. Asterisk.